end of the road, y'all. It's almost there. It's almost there. We ain't got too many videos left. So a lot of y'all keep asking me to do the live videos or whatever. So here we go. Welcome to the video about Chanpwel. Now, this is actually very, very good for the occasion. This is like the perfect thing to talk about because Chanpwel are creepy as hell. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever encounter some Chanpwel, like I'm just gonna die. They're gonna have to put me in a psych ward because them things are freaking scary. All right. But before we get into that, make sure you guys like, hype, subscribe, join the membership, whatever, because literally 12 straight videos is a lot. All right. I got one more after this and I'm going to be so happy when I'm done. But again, special thanks to all of you guys who supported, joined the membership, joined the Patreon, because like I truly do appreciate it. As you guys can see, I got the merch. And shout outs to those of you guys on the membership or the Patreon because you do get 20% off your order. Again, thank you for always being here. I will be taking like maybe a week or two off from this because I literally just gave y'all months worth of uploads in 12 days. So I need to recollect. I need to regroup. So for one of the final videos, I decided to talk about Chanpwel, right? Which realistically, the name translates to field clowns. Many of you guys who come from rural parts of Haiti probably know Chanpwel all too well. And I will say it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people get Chanpwel mixed up with the Baons because they kind of have very similar personalities. Chanpwel are loud, grotesque, annoying. They mock you, they taunt you, they do a lot. And it's very interesting because I've heard of, okay, so depending on where you're from in Haiti, just like every other spirit that I've talked about on this channel, it personificates in different ways. There's people that see Chanpwel as one person, and then there's people that see Chanpwel as a group. Just like Met Minuit, there's Les Minuit, there is like groups of Chanpwel. Like they see Chanpwel as like a group of different spirits. The way I've been told about Chanpwel, it's always been a group of spirits that basically march around doing fuck shit. Like they just, especially at night. And that's part of the reason why I did that video of don't walk around Haiti at night, because these things are going to get you. It's not just because, oh, people are doing rituals and they want to be at peace. It's because this is when the spirits come out to play. This is when things like Chanpwel, Met Minuit, Baon, etc. do whatever it is they need to do. And unfortunately, sometimes you can get caught in the crossfires. Now, Chanpwel is actually tied to death and the cemetery, just like Papa Legba, Met Minuit, Baon Samedi, and anyone else that I've mentioned to be a cemetery type of spirit. As I mentioned in my Met Minuit video, a lot of as I mentioned in my previous videos, a lot of these spirits work together to basically execute certain spells or askings and offerings of practitioners. A lot of people get a lot of the spirits mixed up, and sometimes that can be very, very dangerous because some of the spirits are not to be invoked, especially by people who are not initiated, while some just really don't care and they gonna help whoever, whatever. So yeah, it's very important to understand the difference between Chanpwel, Met Minuit, Byron, Papa Legba. Like, yeah, because a lot of times, some way, somehow, a lot of people be getting them mixed up. And it's like, no, completely different characteristics. Now, Chanpwel are actually associated with the Guédé family of the Loire. As we've spoken about, there's usually the Rada, the Petro, but there's also the Guédé, the cousins, the Barons, the Minuit, so many different groups. Maybe one day I'll sit here and talk about the different groups, but like, to be honest, the groups go on and on and on and on and on, and I'd be sitting here for years talking about the different groups of different Loire. So understand that they fall under the Guédé Loire. Now, funny enough, the Chanpwel, like there's good amount of Chanpwel activity in my mom's side. And it's funny because, yeah, my mom's side is like very Guédé, like get it down. Meanwhile, my dad's side is very Petro. So it sucks because anytime I'm lighting a candle for anyone that's passed away or whatever, like it cannot be on the opposite, like altar or whatever. It has to be on the respective altar. Like I tried to have all the spirits together. It didn't work. Like when I tell you they were trying to kill each other and eventually they tried to kill me, child, they did not like each other. I did not know it was that serious. Okay, so yeah, a lot of the spirits don't get along. Some spirits think they better than the other spirit. Like just like how like we are as humans, yeah, spirits are worse. Okay, worse. It's really, really bad. And it doesn't help that I can see shit. Because at the time when I had everyone together, it was bad. Like the activity, oh my God. So yeah, I had to separate them. So although very annoying and very scary, Chanpwel do remind you of a higher purpose, right? They humble you. They remind you that, death can happen at any time and it happens to everyone. They remind you that there is a thin line between life and death and you should really take life more seriously. Do something with your life if you choose, because literally your life can be taken at any given moment. That's why they're always joking around. They're always doing the most. And yeah, they're just quite frankly annoying as shit. No offense. Now, similar to many of the other spirits I have spoken about here on this channel, Champwell can be a group or it can be manifested as one person. Now, it could be any different type of person, kind of like the Met Minuit situation. And it really depends on your lineage. Personally, in my lineage, I know it to be a group, okay? And it's very interesting because I forgot who it was. I think I met someone that was like from Okap or something. And they said that their Champwell was like one person, or at least there was like one leader that would lead the group. I don't know. Okay, for me, I know it's always been a group. So comment down below. Which one is it for you? Is it a group or is it a personification of one person or thing? Entity. Now, the thing is with Champwell that a lot of people don't really like or gives them a really bad rap is that they're not really gentle. They're very loud, again, very grotesque, pretty vulgar, always mocking, always tricking. Even if you invoke them for something serious, like they play around all day. Hence why they're often mistaken for the Barons or Baron Samedi, because that's what he does as well. However, they are a little bit different, right? So they share their love of irreverence, sexuality. They have a lot of death humor. Even though they're not barons and they're not necessarily Gidini Bull, which is another spirit that I'm going to touch on, they have their own class, right? They're very, I don't even know how to explain it. Like they're their own group, but they are often mixed up. They all are part of the same death world, and they do play important parts in rituals, ceremonies, as well as certain offerings. Oftentimes, you'll see Champwell invoked or show up when people need humbling. Okay, I will say, like, when it comes to Champwell, like, from what I understand from all the stories I've gathered and from what I've, like, researched and stuff, it gives, like, yeah, when a village or a group of people or a family needs humbling, the Champwell show up to show you, like, nigga, you could die any day and we could take you out if we want to. Which is oftentimes very scary and unsettling for some, which is why they get a bad rap. I know a lot of you guys probably watching this probably heard of Carnival or, you know, Carnaval being demonic. A lot of times it's because it is associated with Champwell, which not the same thing. Like that's another video for another time. But the whole idea and the whole premise and opinion that Carnival is demonic is crazy and just inherently racist as hell. Just like with a lot of the opinions that regard Black or Caribbean culture specifically, it's like there is nothing demonic about celebrating Carnival. However, a lot of people do think so. People describe them as death clowns or scarecrows even. Their main role is to break social norms and clown the living and remind people that death is possible. They are agents of humility and chaos, and their personality is chaotic, vulgar. They dance wildly, they exaggerate. They act a fool, okay? And many of you guys, again, especially if you live in like rural areas, more than likely would see them in the field. A lot of people have Champwell guarding their fields or guarding their homes if they sell, if they're in business or whatever the case may be, because they're perfect to ward off robbers, criminals, and people who are looking to steal. Because if you see some shit like a Champwell, yeah, you're more than likely not going to try to steal shit, okay? You're not even going to get that far. Now, the thing is with Champwell that I think a lot of people also kind of like get scared about is that they can mount at any time, but especially during funerals. You know that whole joke that people always say, like Haitians be acting a fool at funerals? We do. That's not really a joke. It's a fact. But a lot of times it's Champwell that's mounting these people. That's the reason they're falling out, doing the most, crying, laughing, all types of shit. Like, think of that. Think of the crazy people at the funeral. Okay, the people that do the most at the funeral, that's a Champwell. Okay? Just extra. Like, I'm not saying that person has been mounted, but there's been a lot of cases where Champwell just mount people at funerals and things just go real chaotic. Now, one thing a lot of people don't speak about, which divulging too many secrets, is that a lot of spirits do pull up to funerals. Like, if you were Ursula Duntor or whatever, she gonna show up. If you were a Baron Samedi, whatever, he gonna show up. If you was an Agwe, whatever, if you are a marionette, whatever, like, they gonna show up. They gonna mount somebody and they gonna show up for you. Feel me? So, Champwell is a little different. Like, they pull up in a crowd. And there's been stories that I've heard of, like, people, like, who didn't know who a family member's... How do I explain it? I've heard stories of people doing funerals for loved ones and saying they didn't really understand who a certain group of people were. And a lot of times it's because it was Loi mounting that particular person, right? It was Loi that was basically making its spirit known to be there and mourn and grieve that particular person. This is why a lot of times when it comes to Champwell, some people kind of confuse Champwell with like Gidini Bull, which The thing is, the Get Igbo thing is another thing where it could be a person. Well, I think Get Igbo is always a person, first of all. But Get Igbo is a loi, but that is technically a loi gad, which is like GAD, GAD, which hopefully I remember to comment it down below. If I don't, just type in Chronicles of the Zoo, GAD, GAD. Yeah, Get Igbo was actually a person and almost always pulls up as a person. But Get Igbo can also sometimes pull up with a group of people, but that's not really common. So typically, if people see a random group of people mourning at a funeral that nobody knows, you can more than likely guess that it is the Barons, or in most cases, it is Champwell. So it's very, very interesting because I didn't know that until like maybe a year or so ago. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. Like, can you imagine like a group of random people you don't know, but like at the end of the day, you don't know who everybody knows, you know? Like, you don't know if that wasn't your mom's group of cousins from Kisasasa that came, but it might not be. Sometimes it could be spirits mounting people, and those people are going in there to mourn because the spirits mourn us when we die too, which is a little weird to think about because can you imagine like they just go mount a random person near the funeral and just to go cry for a couple of hours and then like go back to whatever the fuck, like weird shit, very weird shit. But that's another conversation for another time, possibly for the membership. Too many things divulged publicly just now. So with that being said, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into 12 Days of Halloween. We got one more left. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about Champwell. Have you encountered Champwell? Is there Champwell in your family? Interestingly enough, I got them on my mom's side, but yeah, I don't really encounter them too much, but I have encountered them maybe once or twice. I don't think it's much of a story to be told, but yeah. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye.